Insinyur Renugan Varatharaju, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Industry and Community Relations, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for National Anthem and Putra Gemilang. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Assalamualaikum and good morning. Yang berbahagia, Datuk Dr. Engineer Insinyur Renugan Varatharaju, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Industry and Community Relations, Universiti Putra Malaysia. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Abu Bakar Mat Sultan, Dean, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology. Celebrated Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Rahmita Wirza Rahmat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural lecture ceremony by Professor Dr. Rahmita Wirza Rahmat. I am proudly announced that this is the first inaugural lecture ceremony that has held in our faculty, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology. To begin our ceremony, we now call upon Ustaz Muhammad Nur Hisham bin Nordin from Islamic Center, UPM, to recite the doa. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and very good morning. Ila hadatin Nabi al-Mustafa Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam al-Fatihah. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, arrahmanir rahim, maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Allahumma aftah alaina abwaban ni'mah wa abwabal jannah wa abwabal hidayah wa abwabal ilmi wa abwabal rizqi wa abwabas salamah wa abwabal afiyah birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma zidna ilma warzuqna fahma. Allahumma arzuqna fahman nabiyyin wa hifzal mursalin birahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma ya Allah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most kind, you are glorified, O Allah, and praise. Your name is blessed, your majesty is exalted, and none has the right to worship but you. Indeed, all glory and praise is due to Allah. We glorify and praise Him, and we ask Him for help and forgiveness. In Allah, we seek refuge from the evil in ourselves and from our wrongdoings. O Allah, we thank you for making possible for us together here today for this special occasion, the lecture by Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Rahmita Wirza Rahmat. Allahumma ya Hannan, ya Mannan, ya Badi'as samawati wal ard, ya Dzal Jalali wal Ikram. Lord, please help us in our pursuit to become a leading center of learning and research and world-class university. Please bring up our effort to discover knowledge and new findings in order for us to benefit our nation, people, and religion. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Ya Allah, Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kami dan barisan kepimpinan kami kesihatan yang berterusan, ketabahan dan kekuatan bagi meneruskan visi universiti sebagai universiti yang bereputasi antarabangsa. Hiasilah diri kami dengan ilmu yang bermanfaat, ilmu yang membawa kepada keluhuran akhlak yang tinggi, ilmu yang boleh membangunkan potensi dan kecemerlangan yang berterusan. Ya Allah, Tuhan kami, ikhlaskanlah niat kami dan usaha kami, teguhkanlah hati kami dengan kesabaran, luruskan tujuan kami dengan kejujuran, agar dapat kami hulurkan tenaga dan bakti dengan penuh ketulusan untuk membangun dan membina universiti kami yang kami sayangi ini ke arah pencapaian yang cemerlang. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Thank you, Ustaz, for the doa recitation. Ladies and gentlemen, as the opening of inaugural lecture ceremony, we would like to invite Mr. Umar Abdul Aziz for the performance of spoken word poetry. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everybody. My name is Umar, and welcome to our first class of the session. This is the new semester. We'll be learning about spoken word poetry. In spoken word poetry, if you enjoy the words that I'm saying out like right now, you can snap your fingers. Because clapping is a bit too much, I'll be like, oh, thank you, but akan kacau flow the performance itself. As you notice, I'm going to be switching from English and Malay. The poem is bilingual, and specifically because that's the person, my mother who is here, Prof. Rahmita, she taught me these languages as a child. And that's how we speak generally. So this poem will generally be about her, but also for the lecturers who are in this room. So I shall begin. I will give you 4 words. I will give you 4 words. The first word is mother, the second word is father, the third word is teacher, and the fourth word I'll keep for myself. You see, lecturers are parents who know that they have a lot of work ahead of them. Every single beginning of the semester, you go in with all the gusto in the world and you open the doors, and the first thing you ask, or the first thing you say is, good morning, good evening, my name is, and you begin your class. You see, a mother is a lecturer of time over distance. You see, you graph these equations, you draw lines across your face, and as you grow older, these equations amount to all the wrinkles on your body. And you realize these are the carvings you've put on your body over time. For none other but the people who you teach, the students in your class, the fellow friends you have in your faculty, and the university that you stand for. The first word was mother. And as mothers, you care for the students you have. You love them. You spend time with them. Sometimes you spend time with them so much you have less time for yourself. You see, my mother spends so much time in the university that she loves. She comes home late. And when she comes home late, she comes home tired. And as the first son, I have to deal with the angst and anger and, Yong, tolong buatkan teh satu. And I have to go do that because that's the least I can do. Sure, the second word I gave you was father. And as lecturers, you are the people we go to in universities and will ask you these questions like, so what do you think my topic of my research should be? And you'll be, go read, do your literature review, and I will give you my opinion later. Because the first problem that most lecturers will have is to define what a lecturer is. A lecturer is not a teacher. Agreed? Okay, there you go. Because I've heard this throughout my life. I was here when this was the only building. That second building was new and I grew up with it. I saw the ladies and men here grow from new year lecturers to veterans who are masters of their field. You are not only teachers, you are parents, you are guides, you study with your students. And the idea is at the end of the semester, they become researchers who can stand not behind you but beside you, looking for the information that you're seeking in this world. And the only thing you do is facilitate. And that's not easy to do. That is not easy to do. I gave you 4 words. I don't think anyone in this room remembers them anymore. Like students, we also go into class not remembering the words you said, but the information you gave us. And that's what you want. You don't want your students going out there saying words you taught them, but rather the information they found for themselves. That is what a lecturer is. My mother is a lecturer. She comes home tired. She spends her time in universities with the faculty whom are now her family. Her friends who will ketuk her door and say, Kak Mita, jom teh. And conversations of mengeteh and current research about finding the end point of a nose to the eyes and finding out the facial features of a person using a webcam over distances that I have no idea how far happen in the space of like half an hour. And as a kid, I'd be like, Ma, bila nak balik? So all I ask is this. Cherish the time that you have together with your students, with the faculty mates, and the university you stand for. Because for all the time you spend with her, cherish it. All I ask as her firstborn son is that you leave some time for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Umar Aziz, for the lovely poetry. Umar Abdul Aziz is the eldest son of Professor Dr. Rahmita Wirzan. He won second runner-up point in the straight slam against Singapore and Indonesia and runs creative events under Makhluk Seni. Thank you again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call upon Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Engineer Insinyur Ranugan Varataraju to chair and introduce the speaker for today's inaugural lecture ceremony. Please welcome.
Thank you so much to our MC, Mr. Umar. I think you've done a very, very good ice-breaking. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you. Professor Dr. Abu Bakar Sultan, the Dean Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, University Putra Malaysia. We have our beloved Professor Dr. Rahmita Wirza. Okay, I will explain what is that. She's okay, but I think it is in Malay is orang kaya, rich. So I think she has a lot of money in that sense. And my good friend also is here, Professor Dato Riza from UKM, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Professor Dato Bakar is also here. Dato Bakar, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, well, fellow friends, students, thank you so much for being here. I would like to, first of all, I would like to welcome all of you for this maiden inaugural lecture of Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology. Thank you so much. I would like to congratulate the faculty for making this happen. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Faculty has been active for the past 22 years. In fact, this is the 22nd year, right? I think this is a very significant event for all of us, in fact, for the university. And I think I'm delighted to see a fantastic topic has been suggested by Professor Rahmita herself. I think before we go and actually have a look at what she has got to say about the topic today, I may want to actually introduce. I think her CV is fantastic. I've gone through her CV. It's so thick as a book. I wouldn't want to actually go into the details, but maybe I'll give a snapshot of what I've gathered for the couple of days. Well, Professor Rahmita, she is Malaysian, to start with. She was born in 1965 in Medan, Indonesia. And I've just clarified that just because the father was actually a lecturer in Indonesia, he's a Malaysian. But thereafter, she was being brought up in Kelantan, particularly in Kota Baru, if I'm not mistaken. Then she spent her schooling days there in Kota Baru. Looking at her bachelor degrees and master's degrees, she's basically specialized in mathematics. So I would say she's a mathematician. That fits very well for computer science. And she has obtained her bachelor and master's degree from University of Science Malaysia. Then in 1996, she's decided to pursue her PhD studies in the UK, University of Leeds to be precise. I think since then she's been with University Putra Malaysia. She has clocked in a fantastic 18 years with us. And if you look at her contribution to University Putra Malaysia, particularly to this faculty, she has indeed supervised more than 20 postgraduate students, was made to understand, then a fantastic list of publication or contributions in terms of research and development, more than 150 articles, ladies and gentlemen, in the field. Now, I think here she has also run lots of actually consultancy works, projects, etc. I think I've picked maybe one to probably highlight here. The notable one, I would say, in medical imaging. She was a lead project with IJN, Institute Jantung Negara, or National Heart Institute, whereby she was doing a project together with cardiac surgeons, I think, to go into medical imaging. In fact, well, I think medical assisted surgery, where you have computer graphics basically to assist the surgeons or the cardiologists. I think that is actually to name a few. In fact, all those projects, actually what she has done, that has also led her to have a couple of patents as well, and of course copyrights. So ladies and gentlemen, I think in a nutshell, if you look at her field, she's an expert in computer graphics, I would say. I think all those achievements that she has up to today, that explains that she is indeed the field expert, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, it's my biggest pleasure basically to invite Professor Rahmita Wirza to deliver her maiden inaugural speech today entitled Computer Integrated System, Medical Imaging and Visualization. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the lecture, and I think there's a lot for us to learn too. Professor, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. I can see numbers of my friends here. My best friend, my family, my mother, my daughter, yeah, my anak saudara, and my best crime partner also here. Thank you. The reason I say crime partner, not because we are doing crime, because we do a lot of things together in research, and we started from zero up to now. Yeah. Thank you also to my dear friends. I can see Dr. Akram, my first master students, who's working together with me until now. And we are organizing. We already organized numbers of conferences together. Yeah. So today, of course, I would like to present to you Computer Integrated System, Medical Imaging and Visualizations. Yeah. In the middle of these presentations, I will interrupt a little bit, a few seconds, to explain to my mom what I did, because this project started with her. When she has to attend her bypass operations, and I met Prof. Dr. Muhammad Zamrin. Then this work started from there until now. So in Malaysia, the #1 killer in terms of disease and health-related problem is coronary heart disease. In 2010, the total number of deaths in Malaysia resulted from coronary heart disease was at 20,000, reported by WHO. So this constitutes to about 22% of the total death in the country, while stroke is the second top killer in Malaysia. So this is what the starting of this project, the death of coronary heart disease. So cardiovascular imaging is used for diagnosis of disease of the heart and the coronary arteries. Then there has been a variety of cardiovascular imaging technique, and it grows in their clinical use over the last few years. Currently, one of the most commonly used imaging technologies for coronary arteries is angiocardiography or angiography. Imaging modalities that are common in cardiac abnormalities are angiography, echocardiography, and computed tomography angiography. This is the common device that we use to diagnose the cardiac abnormalities. So we are going to focus with these three devices. Students, my previous students focus with the three devices, and they also have to understand the technology behind these devices. That's the challenge of this project, because to process, to understand the image, the students have to understand the technology behind it, how the device grabs the images. So there are two types of echocardiography imaging technique: the non-invasive dynamic or freehand imaging method, and transvagal echocardiography, TEE. The freehand imaging method is used normally for pediatric and young patients with small body surface areas where the heart size and the distance between the probe and the heart are small. So the probe will not come into your body, the probe is outside. Unfortunately, this only can be done for kids, cannot for adults or bigger adults. So we focus on the TEE imaging method, where the TEE imaging method overcomes all the limitations of the freehand method, since a cardiologist can insert the probe through the esophagus to be placed near the heart and these give clear images compared to the freehand method. So what you have to do here is the doctors have to put the probe inside the patients. Yeah. So to understand this, 2 or 3 of my students, postgraduate students, have to enter the procedure, look into what happened, understand how the doctors do that. And for CTA angiography, generally the CT scan is in form of X-ray, which utilizes a computer system to generate cross-sectional image of the human body. So the CTA is using X-ray technology. When it comes to X-ray, then we have to process according to the X-ray images. So in this technique, a 3D image of component can be reconstructed from a series of 2D X-ray. CT scan can produce a 3D by combining or reconstruct the 2D. So research works that will be presented today revolve around analysis of medical images and assistance towards medical practitioner. The work under project named as Computer-Assisted Surgery and Diagnostic focuses on 3 medical modalities: angiography, echocardiography, and CTA. Then you might wondering why there is too much information about medical hardware technology. I'm here, I'm in the computer science faculty. We should focus on the algorithm, on the images, on the software. So why is it have to be go to understand the hardware technology? Why do we need to know all these informations? So to transform on how the medical expert interpret the medical images to diagnose their patients to an algorithm, we need to understand the technology of each devices and how to manipulate the related pixels. So before we can transform the devices, how they interpret, how the medical expert interpret, we need to understand the technology behind all these devices. So we need to know the background of the pixels, how the pixels being created. So the main idea of this work is quite simple actually. It's not that difficult compared to do the algorithm to solve the problems, but the main idea is quite simple. To transform on how the cardiac expert interpret images on diagnosing their patients to the algorithm that process the digital related medical image, to confirm the accuracy of this transformation, it's necessary to work closely with the cardiac expert. So the idea is, if a doctor can interpret the images, look into the images, use their own expertise and do the diagnosis, that means the algorithm also can be done the same thing. So if we can understand the rules behind it, how they diagnose it through the images, so we transform these rules to the algorithm. So we work together with the medical expertise. You can see here, Dr. Prof, unfortunately cannot come. Sit down together, discuss together with my students. Dr. Farsad already went back to the country. And here you can see Prof. Dr. Muhammad Zamri Diman with my students. And Dr. Arif from Hospital Sedang. And Dr. Suhaini from IJN. So they always came here, or we go there to their site and try to understand. It's not that easy to understand because we are from 2 different areas. For the first few times, it's just like talking like itik and ayam. Because their term is different with our term. What they understand is different with what we understand. So let me stop here for a while, my talk. So I will have to say it in Malay. Yeah. So I put my mom pictures there. Okay. The reason I put my mom pictures there because when this project started, my mom complaining to me, kenapa semenjak berkawan dengan Prof. Dr. Mazamrin dengan Prof. Dr. Ote ni, adik sibuk sangat. Why is it so sibuk? Dia kata, kenapa sibuk sangat, tak sempat dengan mami. Okay. The reason, mami, sebabnya adalah we have to sit down together. Kami kena duduk sama-sama dan kena fahamkan kenapa, macam mana mereka interpret, menganalisa image tu. Dan daripada mana, macam mana dia boleh mendiagnosiskan image tu. Selagi tak dapat peraturan tu, tak dapat macam mana cara mereka nak diagnosis tu, selagi tu kami tak boleh create atau tak boleh hasilkan, janakan algoritma untuk komputer. Cuba bayangkan mereka telah belajar selama 6 tahun untuk menjadi expert, pakar Dan kami nak fahamkan dalam tempoh 2 minggu. Dan cuba nak tulis pula algoritma untuk menghasilkan sistem komputer. So, saya mengambil peluang di sini untuk mohon maaf kepada mak saya kerana saya terlalu sibuk berkawan dengan kawan-kawan baru saya. So, back to the notes. Coronary angiogram. What's a coronary angiogram? A coronary angiogram is a procedure that uses X-ray imaging to see patients' heart blood vessels, right? So some of you might be knows already this, might experience with this coronary angiogram. The test is generally done to see if there's a restriction in blood flow going to the heart. Cardiac catheterization procedures can both diagnose and treat heart and blood vessel conditions. A coronary angiogram, which can help diagnose heart condition, is the most common type of cardiac catheterization procedure. During a coronary angiogram, a type of dye that's visible by an X-ray machine is injected into the blood vessels of patient's heart. The X-ray machine rapidly takes a series of images, offering a look at the blood vessels. If necessary, cardiologists will open heart arteries during the coronary angiogram. So to understand this procedure, Prof. Dr. Wati invite us to be in his operating theatre. So I still remember me and Dr. Norwati, early in the morning, 7 a.m., go to the PPUKM, enter the operating theatre together with Prof. Dr. Wati, and look for procedure. And we don't have time to have breakfast yet. So we have to understand how they do it, how the images can help the doctors to insert the catheter and to see where is the lesion happen. They cannot see the blood. They just insert the catheter, and what they have to follow is the images in front of them. So we call it blind tracking. So we have to create something there so that it's not totally blind. Our software will help the doctors to put in the catheter and to know where to push the catheter. Yeah. And I still remember with Dr. Nawati, we stay there from 7 o'clock to 2 p.m., I think, if I'm not mistaken. And we're so hungry, and we want to go back, and Prof. Ote not allowed us to go back. He insists for us to understand 4 patients' problems. You just imagine that. And we are wearing the operating theatre's robe. Once finished around 2 p.m., then we follow Prof. Ote to the restroom, not restroom, bilik utilities. And in our mind, doctors is healthy, alert of this healthy food. We are so hungry, but what Prof. Ote served us is pizza and Coca-Cola. So, wow, this is the first experience. But he insists to give us, and he's the heart cardiologist. So if anything happened to us, he's there. So okay, we eat the pizza and we drink the Coca-Cola. But at least we managed to understand the procedure. So stenosis is a narrowing of the inner surface of the coronary artery. When a stenosis is identified, a procedure named percutaneous coronary intervention may be prescribed by the cardiologist. Okay. See how I pronounce? It's not easy, right? Percutaneous coronary intervention. So this is what happened. When every time my students present their progress, because I have a meeting every once a week with my students, and my students stand and present. Whenever they mention about this term, this difficult term, I always say to myself, what have I done to myself? All these jargon words, difficult to say, difficult to understand, but I have to understand to help the students. So the basic idea of PCI is to navigate a guide wire with a small inflatable balloon and a stand, which is wrapped around the balloon, and place the balloon at the narrow sections of the coronary artery. Once the balloon is positioned into sternus region of the vessel, it is inflated and causes the stand to expand, pressing it against the coronary wall. So this is what Prof. Ote did to the patients. So they put the catheter with the balloon and a stand, and you cannot see the artery or the vein. You can only see the images. So they just follow the images. So they really have to trust with their expert knowledge. So my idea on that time is, what if I help these cardiologists by using my knowledge in programming? What if I can produce an algorithm and produce a software that can help the cardiologist to track the stenosis? So then the balloon and guide wire are removed, while the expanded stent can be considered as a permanent implant. This stent acts like a scaffold, keeping the coronary lumen open and allowing normal blood flow to occur through the coronary artery. This procedure helps many patients avoid emergency heart bypass surgery and or heart attacks. So some of patients have already done this. It's not that difficult. You don't have to stay in the hospital. You come in the morning, then you attend the procedure, then you can just go back after that. So for navigating a guide wire through the patient's vascular system, X-ray fluoroscopy imaging is used to observe the balloon, stent, and the stenosis artery walls. Since the vessels are mainly radiotransparent, contrast agent is injected and diffused through the arteries to visualize vascular structure and determine the target area for stent placement. So you have to understand, when they put the catheter, they cannot really see the vein. So they have to inject a contrast. Inject like a coloring, but it can send the information to the X-ray. So one of the likely risks of this type of treatment is inaccurate placement of the stent, so-called geographic miss, which could cause serious consequences. So what's happened if because it's a blind, they just go in, they cannot see, they just rely on images. So that might be does happen incorrect replacement. By more precisely determining the optimal location for stent position, the practitioner can avoid the cause of multiple stent and potential complications of the geographic miss. So they will happen, some of it happen whereby they make a mistake. They have to put it out, put it back again, the catheter. So there are some complexities that make accurate device positioning a challenging task. Limitation associated with two-dimensional angiogram image, such as low signal to noise ratio, vessel foreshortening and out-of-plane magnifications, complex motion of the projected arteries in angiogram sequence, difficult morphologies of the arteries such as bifurcation and complex geometry lesions. Because it's rely on the X-ray, the images is not that clear. There's noises, there's not that clear. That's how the students process, how they use the imaging technique to process the image to make it more clearer. One effective solution is designing real-time algorithms which contribute to the development of an assistance system for accurate navigation and localizations of the therapeutic devices. It could prove absolutely beneficial in reducing the time of intervention procedure, which leads to less radiation exposure and less amount of contrast material to be injected into the patient's body. So if we manage to get a good programming, that means we can less the radiation exposure to the patients, because we all know X-ray is a radiation exposure. So the system that we need to develop is expect to meet these requirements: automatic and accurate attractions of vessel center lines, as well as quantification of multiple coronary lesions in a coronary angiogram, robust and automatic localization and tracking of a stent in the fluoroscopy image sequence. The system should not require additional equipment. We should make sure that there's no additional equipment. The system should not require any alteration to the standard flow of the clinical procedure. So we have to make sure there's no alterations to the standard flow. So this is the flow of the program. This is what we do is a video print screen of the program. The output of this, whereby there's the angiogram image. The doctor will need to label where the stenosis, and you can see the informations being created. to measure the stenosis, the length, the dimensions, the radius of the stenosis. Okay. The implemented methods are as follows: pixel-based vessel enhancement and vessel extractions method, including top head transfer for background removal, morphological filtering, homomorphic filter, hysteric thresholding, fuzzy clustering, and eigenvalues of Hessian matrix. These are all image processing techniques. Thinning algorithm for skeletonization of completely segmented vessel, because you have to understand the images, the computer will not understand where is the vessel. So we have to do the thinning, we have to segment. Seed point detection algorithm, including directional kernel-based algorithm and clustering-based approach. Center line attraction algorithm. So if let's say we segmentize, the vessel is not continue. How are we going to know this is the vessel that continued from previous? So what we did is we have to extract the center line. A vessel generation tool for creating synthetic vessel data set. All right, why we have to have a vessel data set? Because we don't have anything to do the benchmark. This kind of work, we don't have standard database. We don't have anything to rely on. So what we did is to create a synthetic vessel so that we can do the benchmark to the synthetic vessel. Image registration method, including an intensity-based registration approach and a feature-based registration algorithm. Stand marker ball detection method and stand detection and tracking algorithm. So this is samples of the images. You have to understand, angiogram image is a JPEG, moving JPEG. It's not video, it's not JPEG, it's a moving JPEG. Numbers of JPEG packed together and play like a video. So we have to retrieve which JPEG is the most suitable for us to do. So our algorithm also can choose the perfect what we need. The perfect, what we define perfect is the one that fully tree. We call this tree, tree, so that we can identify where's the stenosis. Yeah. So the A is the original angiogram. The B is the average boundary image. The C is silhouette image. And D, the center line image. So this is the center line. Then we can see and we can identify the tree of this vessel, the continuity one, the continuity. Because you have to understand, by processing like this, in the program, in the computer, it's not continue. It's just a dot, dot, dot like that. So what we did is, so have to remember again, real-time diagnosis, blind tracking, interpretations through images. So the patient is sitting there. This is the C-arm X-ray. And this is the doctor, usually called the cardiologist. The images will be portrayed over there. And either the patients will be sliced through, they will slice that side or hand. Please correct me up, any cardiologist here. And then they will put the catheter through their hand or their feet and then move towards the heart. Right. And then they just have to see through the images. So before we go further to another device, this is what I call angiogram. We have echocardiography. Back again, I have to stop a little bit of these presentations. I have to explain to my mom, because I think my mom also have been here. Mami ada duduk sini kan, dengan Dr. Ote. Ya, tapi Mami sedar tak Mami dah dibuk masa tu? Tak ingat. So, masa tu Mami akan baring. Dr. Ote, kalau tak silap, Dr. Ote slice kaki Mami kan. Ya, masukkan catheter. Ya, tapi masa tu saya tak masuk, tak ada dalam tu. Dan Dr. Ote akan lihat. Dan unfortunately masa tu ada masalah. Dengan segera Dr. Ote cabut keluar catheter tu dan memesan untuk memanggil keempat-empat kami, iaitu anak-anak pada ibu saya, untuk bertanya boleh tak jalankan emergency operations. Ya. Dan masa dipanggil itulah saya berkenalan dengan satu set of cardiac doctors. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I did not approach any of them on that time because I need to focus with my mom. I don't even introduce to them. I don't even ask them. I just keep quiet listening to what happened to my mom. So they have to operate my mom emergency operations. 4 places of bypass, right? 4 kan? So move to the echocardiography. We have angiogram, we have echocardiography. One of the complexities of heart disease diagnosis is measuring the right ventricle stroke volume from 3-dimensional echocardiography images. The RV has a particular complex geometry and accurate stroke volume measurement requires full coverage of the RV cavity. Why is it now we go further for right ventricle? Because generally before that, all the doctors use the left ventricle. Actually, right ventricle give more information rather than left. But unfortunately, RV is more complex shape. So it's not easy to get complete geometrical information from the RV. So from this, we started the study on the RV, right ventricular heart. So you do remember, right, our biology subject? Heart have 4 chambers. Yeah, right, left, right what? Kalau bahasa Melayu, serambi kiri, serambi kanan, bilik kiri, bilik kanan. Yeah. So now we focus on the RV. Studies have been undertaken to measure the RV stroke volume. However, these studies were based on geometrical assumptions or intensive manual interactions. So before this, they only rely on the assumptions. And then intensive manual interactions, a lot of interactions on the software. So we use a real-time 3D echocardiography provides the potential for improving the image quality and 3D visualization of the entire cardiac chamber. Numerical measurements are an important indicator in any clinical report since they can assist in assessing the normality or abnormality of the structure and functions of the ventricle. So even though the current techniques succeed in measuring the left ventricle function and volume, it cannot provide accurate measurement of the right ventricle functions and volume. So at that time when we start this project, all the system available in the market or in the research, they only can measure the left ventricle. For the right, they only do the predictions, approximations. So now we want to do the real geometrical measurement for the right ventricle. So the echocardiography imaging system consists of the following parts: a specifically designed probe which is registered with the machine to perform the imaging process, spatial software designed to view, analyze, and perform measurement, a workstation to save and process the data that is transferred from the image system. Later, I will explain to you why we create a good system because of this reason, right? We have produced a PAC system, picture archive communication system, so that we not rely on another device or another workstation to save our image. So since computer-aided diagnosis systems are becoming increasingly affordable, such systems are incorporated into routine clinical practice. The segmentation of an anatomy structure is the most important function of the assessment and diagnosis process. Segmenting a complex geometry and functions such as the RV cavity is still a challenge. Accurate segmentation affects the assessment and diagnosis results. So because RVs are very complex, the segmentation is not that straightforward. There's involve a complex geometry. So new algorithms are needed to overcome the complex geometry organs, analysis, function, and medical applications. So in this work, a method for semi-automatic segmentation and stroke volume measurement of the RV cavity in echocardiography image has been created. The methodology is based on a novel method of analysis for the complex geometric structure and complex functions of the RV. The volume of the anatomical structure of the RV is measured by the segmentation of the actual structure of the cavity with automatic detection for the end diastolic and end systolic functions. Okay. The beauty working with the heart because they have a rhythm. So we can get this rhythm and do the measurement. Compared to the other organs, like liver, they don't have any rhythm. The movement, there's no rhythm. But for the heart, there's a rhythm. So we follow this rhythm. Then we measure when it's happened of the end diastolic, we measure, and the end systolic, we measure, because do like that, right? How actually we measure? That's the research that we do. So the methodology includes an automatic seeded region growing segmentation algorithm for the cavity region in 2D image based on a prior region of interest, knowledge, and the computed resolution of the transducer used in TE imaging process. Again, we have to understand the transducer that were used in a TEE imaging. We have to understand how this transducer grab the images. We have to understand how this transducer send the signals and grab the informations. The ventricle function is also determined automatically based on mathematical modeling to compute the cavity stroke volume. So once we grab we can segment the right ventricle wall, then we apply the mathematical modeling to compute the cavity stroke volume. So finally, the contours of the segmented region are extracted to generate the artery point. So from this model, we generate the XYZ. We generate the points in 3 dimensions, and we generate the wall in 3D. The goal of this part of research is to measure the cavity stroke volume to assist the specialist and practitioner to determine any abnormality of the RV. So for the practitioner, if they see the movement of this RV is not abnormal, there's no rhythm, they can immediately know there exists the abnormality. Numerical measurements are important indicator in the clinical assessment of the normality of abnormality for the structure and functions of the heart ventricle. So the 3D imaging technology gives good imaging quality to the features of 3D imaging and provide the full structure of the ventricle cavity. Measuring the RV volume is a big challenge because of the complexity of its geometry. So if you just imagine the probe coming through this mouth, right? Through we call it here, right? And send the signals. And RV is not near to the transducer. And the shape of this RV, right ventricular, is a little bit complex. Dia macam kacang. Macam tu kacang. So it's not, it's a challenge to understand. Yeah. And I can see Prof. smiling at my statement. I have to be careful when explaining in medicals because I can see numbers of my friends, medical friends here. So please apologize if I make a mistake explaining in medicals. So this part of the work presented a ventricle stroke volume measurement by segmenting the RV from 3D images using an improved fast single seed point region growing segmentation method for the intracardial cavity of the ventricle. An automatic approach to determination of the seed point is used. A novel method performed for the automatic detection of the ED and ES frame from one cardiac cycle video has been created and compute the stroke volume based on the intracardiac structure of the right ventricle. So this technology, they produce a video. So if you remember the angiogram produced the moving JPEG, but this one they produce video. So we process the images as we process video. Right. So primarily the chosen method focused on quantitative approach to measure some clinical parameters for assessing the RV function. The overall framework comprised from 3 main phases: automatic boundary detections. So we have to detect the boundary, automatic. RV cavity segmentations. We have to segmentize the cavity of the RV. And motion tracking of the endocardial surface. Because it moves, so we have to track the motion so we can see the movement of the wall. So if the wall movement is normal, following the rhythm, that is normal, with the patient normal. But if the movement of this surface is not, the wall is not in rhythm, then there's something wrong with the patients. So this is the framework that we design, we create. So this is also a video print screen of our software, of our program. Well, later we are change a little bit the system. So you can see the movement. That's our RV, the patient's RV wall. you can see the movement of the wall, then we will not understand whether it's abnormal or normal, but the cardiac will understand there's something wrong with the patients. But then we create a graph later on. From this graph, we can see the abnormalities of the patient's heart. We use four or five sit point, and then we track. So from the graph, the expert will know there's something wrong with the patients. And we always show this to the cardiac expert so that what we produce is exact. Yeah. The challenge of this project is the accuracy. We cannot just deliver and then that's it. It's accuracy of the word, how accurate it is. And then, other than how accurate it is, whether it's applicable or not for them. So we have to work closely with them. Again, I have to stop here. My mom, yeah. So, the reason, nak buat ni, agak susah saya terangkan sebab saya dipanggil adik. Nanti kalau saya sebut nama saya adik, nanti habis satu fakulti akan panggil saya adik. So, this idea senang saja, Mami. Yeah. Dia setiap video ataupun image adalah numbers. Sebab tu mungkin background saya mathematics, jadi agak senang nak proses image. Image ni semua adalah terdiri pada nombor saja dan dia ada kotak-kotak kecil dalam image tu. Kotak-kotak kecil tu adalah terdiri pada numbers yang bernilai 0 hingga 255. Dan kami akan lihat jiran-jiran kotak-kotak kecil ni untuk memahami di mana harus diproses. Okay. Bila disebut segmentize, maknanya kita cuba kenal pasti di mana objek tu dan kita keluarkan objek tu. Sebab bila kita proses dengan komputer, komputer tak akan tahu yang mana organ tu. Of course nak proses tu makan masa, ada algoritma. Satu, lihat nombor dan tengok jiran kotak-kotak tadi. Kalau agak jauh, maknanya ada wujud organ di situ. Kalau sama, maka tak ada organ di situ. Jadi ada beberapa, tapi di antara itu ada lagi lah beberapa teknik. Okey. Alhamdulillah mak saya boleh faham ya. So the challenges of 3D medical visualization is to deliver virtual 3D with highly accurate data. It's not just like presenting a very nice pictures, a very nice 3D model. It's not like computer graphics, normal standard computer graphics. We can just deliver a nice picture, a nice avatar, or nice beautiful heart. We have to deliver something that have accurate data. The data should be accurate. The accuracy is less than 1% because involve the human life. If we make a mistakes, nanti ada patient yang meninggal lah. Right. So we have to make it a highly accurate data. That's the challenge. Then we go for the 3D information, medical visualization and diagnosis. Right. 3D information, meaning that information should be correct, accurate, highly, to help the doctors to do diagnosis. In medicine, visualization can be considered important to provide a more comprehensive pictures, but the visualization challenge in medicine is the accuracy of the information that you want to show and how to analyze images from medical imaging tools. There are several reasons for involving visualization in medicine. Need to look into overall abnormality because we cannot see only one images. We have to see the overall abnormality. Reduce the human error in diagnosing the illness and helping young doctors analyze the patient's illness. So by producing this software, we hope that young doctors can be helped to assist them. And we can reduce the human error to diagnose the patient illness. So measuring ventricle volume is an important parameter for heart function assessment and medical decisions. In this part of research, a semi-automatic method to measure the RV stroke volume has been created. This method consists of two stages: data generation imaging, data collection, data simplifications. sequence of steps to satisfy measurement for the real stroke volume and 3D modeling for the cavity structure. So the data set used in this part of research is obtained using Philips QLab system workstation. We use this in IJN because we only can retrieve this and allowed to use in IJN. TEE imaging is used for acquiring the image of the RV cavity, which is a data set for cardiovascular patients. And the optimum 3D full volume moving image, which is also known as 4D echocardiography for the moving image, are used as input for this research. Why we call it 4D? Because it's 3D and moving, involve time. So that's why we call it as 4D. So the optimum 3D full volume image is one that shows the complete structure of the RV cavity. So we still rely on this RV. So if previous word that I explained is looking into the movement of the wall, RV wall, now we are looking into the shape of the RV. We try to extract the shape, so we can show it to the doctors, so the doctors can see the shape, what happened to this RV. So this is not just a beautiful shape, but also have information in it, right? But I don't think we can understand, only expert medical doctors will understand the shape. Ya kan? Alright, so this is the framework. So you have to understand each of these words have a research framework, the flow, so that we can see what we have to do, what we have to follow. So we generate this. Oops. I've got the music. So this is the RV cavity that we managed to get from the project. That's the images. See the beauty of the heart and the beauty of the programming code. Don't bother of the difficulties behind the work. These are real programming. This data coming from IJN, we process. You can see the line, a curving line. Identify the border of the RV. Macam tengok movie kan. Tapi itu data pesakit betul. It's a real data patient. Has a frame, so we have to track where is the RV, because every single frame of the video changes the shape of the RV. So we have to make sure to track the shapes. Sebab jantung macam ni kan, so every single frame tu akan berubah. So kami kena track one frame, just a seed point, then the seed point will track every single frame. That's the beauty of this work. We can meet new people, of course medical doctors, and if anything happen to us, we just call them. And then we can play around with the images, quite very beautiful images. That's the information actually the doctors want to see. Okay. So, the stroke volume computation process is built based on these summation principles This process uses the segmented region of the cavity from the 16 slices at the ED and ES stages. So, dia start ni dan kita akan slice 16. Then compute the volume of the segmented cavity in each slice by computing the area of the segmented region multiplied by the slice thickness, which is computed from the distance between slices. The resultant volume of this computation is in pixel unit. To do the measurement unit to milliliter units requires knowledge of ultrasound probe resolution parameters. So what we have when we slices into 16 slices and we segmentize and then we compute the distance between the slices, but all these units are in pixels unit, not in millimeter. What we need is in millimeter units. So we have to transform this unit. Unfortunately, we don't have the information of the ultrasound probe resolutions. Because you know the market, the vendor, they will not give that information to us. So in establishing the parameters, an experiment is conducted to find the 3D ultrasound probe resolutions without depending on the physical parameters of the ultrasound probe. So we done a little bit of experiments to see this scaling factor among the probe and the pixels. Sometimes practitioners need to use 2 images to diagnose their patient's abnormality. So before this, we have angiography, 1 devices, then echocardiography, 1 images. But unfortunately, sometimes practitioners need 2 images, 2 different modalities to understand the patient's abnormality. They have to interpret each of these images and fuse them in their own mind. So what they did is they look into angiography, they look into CTA, and they diffuse it in their mind. They try to interpret both of these images. So of course, this needs practice. So what if we fuse it in our program? Instead of letting them fuse in their head, we produce a program, fuse these 2 images from 2 different modalities, and give the complete 2D fusing to the doctors. So we have a 3D multimodal medical images registration for visualizations. From the technical standpoint, there are several complexities which make precise 3D stenosis positioning as a complicated task. Limitation associated with the output of X-ray angiography, such as 2D informations. Limitation associated with the output of CTA, such as it is not possible to visualize all types of the stenosis lesion in coronary arteries. So some of the doctors need 2 types of medical device, angiography and CTA. Angiography is a 2D images. So some of the information is hidden when it involves 2D informations. But for the CTA, they cannot get to visualize all the informations, especially the stenosis lesion. It's not very clear. It's not, the resolution is not that high to interpret the informations. So different modalities hold different information in assisting the physician in making decisions. How are we going to fuse from 2 different modalities with 2 different challenges, different information? So what we need to fuse it in our algorithm. How are we going to do that? Basically, they viewed these images in separate or adjacent windows and mentally fused these images together. That's what the doctors did. So, but how are we going to do, the programmers, our side, to produce this? So even though medical image registration and image fusion has been successfully implemented in other organs, such as the brain and lungs, medical image registration and fusions for the heart present different challenges. Okay, you have to understand, when it comes to fuse the brain and lung, the challenges is different with the heart, because the heart is moving, duk-dap, duk-dap, duk-dap. And this moving is different with different modalities. The way it moves is different. So that's the challenge. Since the heart is beating, fusion requires synchronization with the rhythm of the heart for different phase. So we are lucky actually. Even though the heart is moving, different modalities is different way they're moving, but they have rhythm. So we follow this rhythm. Because your heart, duk-dak, 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 and all devices will give the same informations. So we follow this movement, this rhythm. The heart is a non-solid organ, thus acquired images give a vague impressions. Again, the challenge because the heart is not a solid organ. So the information from the image is not that concrete, not like we get it from the like bone, like other organs. So this again our research framework. Again, I can explain to you in details, but I'm afraid this inaugural will transform to a image processing class. So I prefer to just skip that framework. Yeah, is it okay for you? Okay. So the approach have been implemented in MATLAB and Visual C++. Why is it Visual C++? Because we want to display much more better, much more nicer. The framework for automatic coronary artery segmentation from the X-ray angiograph image and compared with the existing methods. The method for main coronary artery labeling and candidate control points detection from X-ray angiograph image. The algorithm for main coronary artery segmentation, labeling, and candidate control points detection from CTA and compared with the existing method. The proposed method for feature-based CTA and X-ray angiography registration, 3D multimodal cardiac reconstructions. So what we did is actually easy to say, simple. But of course, you have to labeling, two different images, do labeling, do segmentations, and do the tracking. Once we get that, we can fuse using feature-based CTA or X-ray angiography registration. We register that. Then from that, we create the 3D. Again, I have to stop here for a while. These are pictures of my mom and my youngest. Unfortunately, my youngest is not here because her teacher said, don't bring her here because we have explanation for her UPSR. So unfortunately, I cannot bring her. So the reason is before, I will explain to my mom what's going on. Okay, Mami, dia ada dua image kan? Biasanya tak guna satu, dua image. Jadi dua image ni kami nak gabungkan. Supaya daripada gabungan ni kami akan dapat 3D. Daripada 3D ni, maklumat yang diperolehi mencukupi untuk doktor membuat keputusan. Image yang digabungkan ini daripada device yang berbeza, alat yang berbeza. Bila alat berbeza, teknologi berbeza. Bila teknologi berbeza, resolution semua maklumat berbeza. Jadi apa yang kami buat adalah kami tandakan dari segi programming, kami tandakan, kami keluarkan apa yang kami nak dan kami ikut rentak rhythm jantung. Sebab walaupun daripada dua mesin, masih lagi mengikuti rentak jantung. Jadi kami gabungkan image tu untuk menghasilkan 3D. Daripada 3D, doktor boleh buat interpretations. Yang itu saja kerja kami, Mami, selama ni. So, we've done a lot of things, not just that, but focusing on the device, everything. Then again, my first plan, actually, when I met the doctors, I would like to have an augmented reality 3D. But unfortunately, this project is not going anywhere yet. Hopefully, by then we can proceed. So, what my intention is to produce augmented reality to imitate the operations so that the young doctors who want to be an expert can sit down in their own room playing around with the operations using augmented reality. But the challenge of augmented reality is the model itself. How are we going to produce a real model looks like what happened in the hospital, what happened in the operation theater, they can see through the augmented reality. That's the challenge. Augmented reality is not difficult to do. You can use Unity, you can use Wolfria. It's not a challenge. But the challenge is the model that looks accurate, exactly what the doctor see in the operating theater. Right. So how to virtually replicate operation procedure? How to replicate in augmented reality? So a realistic 3D model is an important issue for education or clinical purposes. Realistic 3D model reconstruction is one of the important challenging issues for most researchers in the field of computer graphics and computer visions. Nak hasilkan realistic tu is not easy, right? Especially when it comes to the medical model. So 3D model reconstruction is a difficult and challenging problem in the field of computer graphics and computer visions. Existing application tools or modern devices are consuming time, cost, and effort. Another approach is model from images, and although the time required to reconstruct the 3D model is less, it produces unrealistic 3D model. Tentu, most probably you say, alah, there exists a realistic 3D model of medicals. used for VR. Yeah, 3D anatomy, the real heart 3D anatomy, yes, exists. But the one that in the operation theater, when the doctors open the heart, there's not anywhere you can find. How are you going to simulate or try to replicate the scenario in the operations where the doctors open the patient's heart with the real heart there? So that's the challenge. So again, this is a research framework. I'm not going to touch in detail, but you can read from my books. So in this work, the input for the methodology was a real human heart image. And then specular reflection detection and correction was processed in order to get a realistic 3D reconstructed human heart surface model with 3D vessels over the heart surface. The detection and correction of reflection was considered a significant part of this method, which could cause of distortion of the depth reconstruction of the heart surface. So what we did is, not me, Prof. Zamir actually offered me to go into his operating theater to see his operations, but I was reluctant to go because at that time, when I'm 41 years old, I'm afraid I will pengsan. So I sent my students. So 2 or 3 of my students entered the operation theater, look closely with the camera, everything, and take a pictures, take a video, how Prof. Zamir open up the heart. Tapi bukan masa mami, masa mami projek ni belum jalan. So they go inside, once Prof. Zamir open it, put everything over there, then Prof. Zamir let my students take a pictures and continue to work. Right. So from these pictures, we process. And later, a few years after that, in the operation theater, already have this camera. So we don't need to bring a camera. Just get the camera from the operation theater. That's the beauty of this work, because we can see the real heart of human. How many of you have touched the heart, a real heart? This is the real heart, human heart. We're still alive. Only a few of us in this wide world have touched a real, live human heart. So we capture these images. So you can see there's a lighting effect, because if you have been in the operating theater, there's a lot of light, very strong light. So this strong light will reflect to the heart. Because of this strong light, we cannot do the reconstruction from a single image. You just imagine the heart is not the overall heart coming out. So we only use one camera captured from the top. But then there's a light. This light will make the model crooked. So what we did is we identify from the computer programming, identify where is this reflections and take it out. Take it out and do the calculations to produce a real surface heart. But again, we need these vessels. You can see here, there's no vessel. We have to identify where's the vessel. So this real image, you cannot see the vessel. We already done the extraction of the specularities, light, but then the vessels, we need to get to identify where's the vessel. Because you have to remember that at the end of it, we have to create the AR, augmented reality operations, where the doctors have, where the young doctors do the operations in the AR environment. So the vessel segmentation and visualization process are the step following the 3D reconstruction of the human heart surface. The fat in most cases cover the human heart surface, which also cover the surface vessel. However, in some cases, the vessel appear clearly on the surface of the heart images. Usually the vessel embossed over the surface. Vessel regions are darker than the other heart surface region, such as the arteries that are reddish due to carrying the oxygenated blood. In addition, the most important vessel to be segmented are the vessel ROI, where to be performing the surgery and avoid surgical injuries. Those vessels are whitish in color due to its lack of blood. So the program have to identify where's the vessel and put back into the 3D modeling. So this is the original human heart image. We segmented vessel using the method that we choose, that we create. So this is the vessel. You can see here the vessel. It's not that strong color to do the segmentations. So, but then we managed to get that. Then we visualize it over the 3D HUD surface. I cannot get the latest video, unfortunately, but this is the previous early stage of the 3D that we managed to create. You can see the sharp up, you can see the sharp. This because of the light in the operation theater. All right. So to simplify the work, a computer program has been developed with graphical user interface, the implementation of the Bezier curve, smoothen the effect of specular reflections. So this is our work. We take out the reflections, and then we smooth the surface. There are still many studies that need to be carried out for this part of result to be used in surgical training in the augmented reality environment. There are several investigations already underway and are being carried out for the enhancement of interaction between users and the virtual HUD. However, the result of this research can be used as an alternative of 3D visualization by only using one camera. Usually people use 2 or 3 cameras, but we only use one camera. So from angiography, echography, and CT image, various research output have been produced, including image analysis, visualization images, reconstruction images. This work have been published in various journals and have either been copyrighted or patented. Each of these work, we patent or we copyright. To ensure that these works can be used in real world, a picture archive communication system, PACS, has been developed. We name as CSD PACS system. Because you can see, whenever we image that we get, we retrieve it using CD or pen drive, or save it to workstations, and from the workstation, we take it out. So what we did, we create a PACS system which we can integrate with a device and grab all the information and save in a server. And results have been remodified as modules, and currently for further version of CSD PACS system are in the process of integrating each module with the PACS system. So you can see each of these software, once we change, we modify to make it as a modules, then we integrate with our PACS system. So this is the PACS system that's already available. We have 2 versions saved in a server, in our faculty server. So what we have is storage and transmissions, viewing on all the devices. We connect to the devices, and devices will send the images to our server, storage, and the viewing system we can view. And at this moment, this is our interface. This is the first version. The second version much more better. So from this interface, we can measure, we can move around, we can rotate whatever the doctors need. So we have done the training, we have done the test in one of the hospitals for 4 or 5 months, checking how it works. We have done the test for the PACS system in one of the clinics to see whether it can transmit the data to the PACS system. This PACS system is a web-based and also cloud-based. So I have to stop for a while. This is my mother and my only sister. I don't know where she's go back already. She has a lecturer in UITM, right? She's my sister, but always people say she's my adik. But actually, she's my kakak. Okay, never mind, she's not here. Right, so when you see this, that means I'm going to explain to my mom in Malay what's going on, right? So, Mami, yang tadi projek-projek tadi yang dibuat, sekarang projek tu tak bersambung terus ke device, ke X-ray, ke CT, ke apa, tak sambung. Kami kena keluarkan satu-satu manually. So apa yang kami buat, kami create satu sistem, kami namakan Picture Archive Communication System. Yang mana sistem ni boleh terus langsung ambil image daripada X-ray, daripada angiogram, daripada CT. Dia ambil langsung. Tak perlu lagi orang, tak perlu lagi nak save. Dia ambil langsung dan basic dan secara asasnya dia boleh paparkan maklumat tu. So nanti projek-projek yang tadi akan diubah suai supaya boleh di-upgrade lagi PAC system ni, yang mana doktor boleh analisa image tadi terus. Okay, Mami? So, kalau Mami komplain anak Mami yang bongsu ni sibuk, inilah kesibukan dia. Okay, so at the end of this talk, I would like to say thank you to all my friends. This flow of what happened. It's not easy actually to create this group. We have also been in the newspaper, numbers of newspaper talking about our product. We visited numbers of places to understand the flow, to understand the problems. And I have to say thank you to my dear friends who are behind CSD project, who are together with me traveling to IJN, PPUKM, Hospital Tan Tock Seng, Singapore, and University Ataturk, Erzurum, Turkey. So, Alhamdulillah, it's a Prof. Haji Hassan are here. He is the background of this project, always give me advice, always, like a tongkat kekuatan lah, because it's not easy to move around with this project. And also thank you to Dr. Nasir, who are together with me. And we are presenting our work in Turkey. Yeah. And we are with Dr. Rabia Kadir and Dr. Lily Suryani. We are on the way to Singapore. Nice, quite good experience actually. Kami pergi sampai Singapore, Mami. Yeah. Prof. Zamrin yang bawa Mami. Kalau ada sibuk, salahkan Prof. Zamrin. So thank you juga to my dear CGV2 team members. These are my research group team members, Dr. Seng Beng, Dr. Putri Suhaiza, who have a lot of ideas on graphics, and Dr. Fatimah Khalid, who are focusing on the image processing, and Dr. Hizmawati, our MC, also image processing, image analysis, right? Yeah. So they are although we are only 5, including Dr. Siti, our new members, Dr. Siti, who are handling the sound system at the back. Although we are 6 of us, and most of us are very young, including me, but are quite active, right? They just managed to get medal, silver and gold in the exhibitions. Yeah. And publication, of course. Yeah. Thank you also to CASH team, who together with DSR organizing CASH conference since 2014 and CSD workshop in 2012. So we have here Prof. Dr. Akram and Prof. Dr. Mahmud. Yeah. Okay. So Alhamdulillah, they're patient enough with us, handling the CASH system with us, CASH conference with us, computer-assisted system in health conference since 2014, and the second 2016, and just few days ago, 2018 conference. And also thank you to my members here, my friends in this faculty, who are helping me organize this conference. Thank you also to my dear cardiac expert friends, who are patient enough with my students, committed with my students with the research work. So as I mentioned previously, Prof. Dr. Ote cannot come here. Dr. Suhaini from the IGN. Dr. Arif, I'm not sure whether he's around. Yeah, Dr. Arif. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah. Dr. Arif is the heart surgeon, consultant heart surgeon from the Hospital Sedang. He's at the back sitting. Thank you so much, actually, because they're willing to spare their busy time, especially Dr. Arif. He's not the academician, but he's willing to validate my students' work. Yeah. And they're willing to sit down waiting, and you can see here, listening to the progress of my students. Yeah. Thank you also to my dear senior, who are always willing to help and guide me. You can see here, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Osman. I managed to get his current pictures. Usually he used the younger pictures. I managed to He's helping me in the early beginning of the project. He's not questioning me a lot, just together with me. Dr. Nasir, I'm not sure Dr. Nasir is here. He, together with me, went to IGN, went to Sarawak to go to Hospital Kuching there. And our dean, previous dean, sorry, Prof. Dr. Azim, who always advised me when I'm just coming back from overseas. Because at that time, I don't know what to do, but I'm really looking forward to have my research. I'm looking forward to have a group. He always advised me. He always gave me space to do what I want to do at that time. And of course, for my dear Haji Hassan, my strength to start this work. Thank you to my students, either postgraduate or undergraduate, who are willing to be with me, sometimes to do hard work, sometimes to do gila-gila thing, sometimes makan-makan thing. So you can see here undergraduate organized together, helping me to organize the cash conference on that time. And the postgraduate do the makan-makan thing. They always like to makan-makan. Okay lah, makan Iraq, makan Iran, makanan Melayu. Unfortunately tak ada India punya, saya tak ada India student, so I tak dapat rasa makan India. So we eat Yaman food, Iraqian food, Iran food together, right? And we take a pictures. One of my students, Husniza, graduated, and we take a pictures. Thank you to my family who are here together with me. My older brothers, my inspirations, right? Dr. Prof. Izzati. His wife, Dr. Norma. Okay, wait, my sister tak ada. My brother, second brother, Insinyur Indra Lutfi. Tak lupa. Saya memang dulu manja dengan dia. Sekarang dah malulah, dah tua kan. My daughter, saya Dato' Ahya, and my oldest son, Umar Abdul Aziz, who give a very nice poem. Okay. And tadi saya nampak anak nombor 2 saya, dia datang, dia duduk, and dia dah balik sekejap, dia ada hal. Okay. Also, my husband there, sekarang, dulu my husband is a lecturer and then resigned. Having daripada seorang lecturer, dia bertukar jadi seorang petani. Ada tanam kelapa sawit di Bentong dan juga pelihara kambing, biri-biri. Previous, I think the same faculty with you. But I don't know whether you know. Yeah, Fakulti Ekonomi dan Pengurusan. Oh, you're from engineering, sorry. sorry. And my mom, of course, right? And this is not my kids, this is my siblings. You can see my oldest brother, my second brother, my sister, and me, the youngest. Comelnya. Dululah. And thank you to my dear junior friends who share their strength and energy. So you can see from outside numbers of young academicians wearing pink tudung, pink shawl, and same shirt. Yeah. They're the one who are helping to organize this together with the administrations, and they have their own strength and energy, and share their strength and energy for me. So I do hope this event will inspire them to progress their career. And I can see my seniors here, Prof. Kamaria, Prof. Dato' Prabhakar. They are my inspirations, actually. When we start your academicians, when you start your career, you tend to see, to know who is your senior, who can be your inspirations. So I always follow Prof. Dr. Bakar's progress. Dia macam kira macam apa ya? Ikut saja. So I always follow Prof. Bakar's progress because I want to understand how he do his work. Also Prof. Kamaria, because if you understand them, you follow them, then you can set up your path. there's a few of my seniors that I always follow their progress. So of course, my main inspiration is my father, Dr. Rahmat, Dr. Barudin, late father, and my mom, Dr. Anda Wisni Khairul Rangkuti Mahmudin. And this project started because of her. Because to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit frustrated with the medicals project because the doctors are too busy to catch them. And the benchmarking of this output, the result is not easy because there's no standard data set, there's nothing to benchmark. So a little bit of frustrated on that time, but because of my mom, I start this project. Yeah. Not because she said so, because something happened in the ICU. That I will not in this inaugural. Okay, so thank you very much indeed for this talk. Thank you very much indeed who come here and listen to my talk. So again, I have to end my talk. I will, I end up my talk. Thank you very much indeed.
My. That was a scare. Professor Rahmita have started off scaring us, sharing us that one of those killer, I would say, diseases that we have is indeed cardiac-related issues. And I think it is peaking in the country. With that, I think it has attracted the attention of all of us to be very, very, very attentive throughout the lecture. Congratulations, I must say. Now, I found myself, my heart was pounding. And I was actually quite nervous. What is the state of my heart? I'm very sure all of you had the same feeling. But anyway, it was a fantastic talk, I must say. She started off with a sort of a problem to the society, addressing a problem to society, a problem which she has faced herself in her life. I think if you look at most of good discoveries in the world, it would have actually started like that. So it's fantastic. You have actually picked that problem up and tried to solve it so that other people would not actually suffer. That is a very noble thing to do so. If you look at her introduction, the introduction was very clear to us, looking into medical imaging as a core topic to be discussed. She has introduced to all of us, there's three major, I would say, options that you have. The first is, of course, angio, second is echo device, and the third is CT devices. So she has dwelled on all these three devices to look at how to facilitate the doctors in order to making a better treatment or even to making a better decisions. If you look at her core, I would say, research, there's a lot of challenges. One notable one would be basically looking into the right ventricle of your heart, basically, to try to actually dissect, and has a lot of image artifacts, I must say. That was actually indeed, I think, very, very impressive to solve that and to enable to construct a 3D visual out of it. I would like to actually also mention that I think this is a fantastic field, and you have, I think, a great, I think, opportunities for further development. As we have seen, Dr. Rahmita have already gone into working augmented reality. In that sense, I'm pretty sure in coming years you are also going to look into virtual reality. That will make the teaching and learning, in fact, the research and other developments much easier, much meaningful, and I think we are going to go into a greater heights. I have a message for you, Dr. Rahmita. Your full name, Professor Dr. Rahmita Wirza OK Rahmat. You are okay. In fact, you are an asset to us. I think asset to the country, asset to University Putra Malaysia. I think there's a lot more for you to actually achieve. Keep making us proud of you and indeed keep helping our community at home. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the day and keep coming back to University Putra Malaysia for those visitors. We are always here basically to help the nation, to help the community. That's our goal, berilmu, berbakti. Terima kasih.
Thank you Yang Berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Engineer Insinyur Ranugan Varataraju for chairing the inaugural lecture ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, that we have come to the end of this ceremony. We would like to express our sincere appreciation and thanks to everyone for attending the inaugural lecture ceremony by Professor Dr. Rahmita Wirza Rahmat. So we would like to invite all of you to enjoy the lunch served outside the hall. But before we leave the hall, I would like to invite all of our honorable guests here to have photo shoot session on the stage. Okay? Thank you everyone and have a nice day.